Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we'll talk about payment and small finance bank. So, the basic differences between payment and small finance bank as well as their features. Okay, the only request is please do like the video and do share with your friends. Guys, whenever we talk about payment and small finance bank, so the licensing to these particular bank was done by RBI in 2015, and the primary objective was financial inclusion. So we will start with a small finance bank. So a small finance bank, basically, prior to this banking system, they were running as the micro finance houses across the country. Okay, so they are doing as a like they are doing they are dealing with finance, but they're working as a finance company. Okay, so their area was limited. Let's say if any finance company, let's say if you talk about the first small finance bank, which was Capital Local Area Bank, which was based in Jalandhar. So the reach of this institution was in only that Punjab or Haryana or limited state with limited state. Okay, so now in 2015, with the recommendation of Usha Thorat Committee, RBI gave a banking license to these particular entities or the 10 entities that time. Okay, so now they become a bank. With the bank tag, the trust of people also increase. So in 2010, RBI basically, in 2015, RBI basically introduced a new banking system to achieve the financial inclusion end goals, and even to provide credit facilities to small and marginal groups or business houses in agriculture. Okay, small finance bank, they are like they are similar to other banks, but you can compare them with RRBs or the similar banks. So those who generally work in small areas, small district level and all, and even nowadays they have a reach across the country after becoming the small finance bank or after using a small finance bank tag. Okay, so here we will decode the overall history of a small finance bank, the current list. So now we have 12 small finance bank in the country. So we will go through all the 12 small finance bank as well. Okay. So finance bank are aimed to provide financial inclusion. Basically, the agenda behind this particular bank was to create a financial inclusion in Indian economy. So the main customer of a small finance bank include micro industries, small and marginal farmers, unorganized sector entities, and small business units. So if you talk about the customer size of these particular institutions, so that belongs to basically MSME category or marginal or small farmers and all, and they are providing credit facility to these particular customer group. So these are licensed under Section 22 of Banking Regulation Act 1949 and governed under RBI Act 1934. So RBI basically identify the need of financial inclusion for this specific group of customers, and they gave license to 10 entities in 2015 as a small finance bank. Okay, so in July, if you talk about the history of a small finance bank, so in July 2014, Reserve Bank of India released the draft guidelines for small finance bank. So in 2015, RBI released the list of entities which had applied a small finance bank. So there were 72 applications across the country. Okay. So after the release of guidelines, so there were 72 applications or applicants who apply for small finance bank business in India. An external advisory committee headed by Usha Thorat was formed that evaluate the licensing process of small finance bank. In September 2015, the Reserve Bank of India announced that it had given provisional license to 10 entities that time. Okay, so that time it was like when after the suggestion or recommendation of Usha Thorat committee or after the evaluation of business of all these 72 applicants, so RBI gave license to 10 entities as a small finance bank. But now we have 12 small finance banks. So these to our newly added small finance bank in the country. So these are, like, if you talk about the first small finance bank in the country, so it is Capital Small Finance Bank Limited. So it is based in Jalandhar, and the tagline is Vishwas se Vikas tak. AU Small Finance Bank Jaipur based, Equitas Small Finance Bank Chennai based, ESAF Small Finance Bank, it is based in Thrissur, Fincare Small Finance Bank Ahmedabad, Jan Lakshmi Small Finance Bank Bangalore, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank headquarter based in Bangalore, Utkars in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, Sarodaya Small Finance Bank Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra, Northeast Small Finance Bank Guwahati, Assam, Shivalik Mercantile Finance Bank, which was previously working as a finance house. So it is based in Saharanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Now it is RBI also gave the license of small finance bank to Shivalik Mercantile Finance Company. Okay, and the last or the latest one was Unity Small Finance Bank. It is based in New Delhi. So if you see the list or these particular cities, so basically these financial institutions were working in different cities of the country. Okay, and before this small finance bank tag, their reach was limited, because if you do not have a tag of bank, so people usually, or we can say people generally, do not trust on your institution. So now you have a tag of bank, and bank are generally governed by RBI in India, so it has a trust in the market. So after the small finance bank tagging on these particular institutions, so their business also expand by 10x or by multiple time, we can say. Okay, so here we have the 12 small finance bank in the country, and believe me guys, if you study their finances or their balance sheet in last post 2015, so they are doing really good. Okay, and even we can say RBI also achieving their end objective of issuing these kind of licenses. Okay, so hope this is clear now. So small finance bank, now we'll talk about payment banks. So payment bank, as you can see, in a small finance bank number got increased, but in payment bank number got reduced. So starting it was 11 entities, now we have only 6 payment bank in our country. Okay, so payment bank, these are similar to other commercial bank, but they have some restrictions. These can also known as small banks, like they have a transaction limit of 2 lakh rupees. Okay, and even the other one, they cannot borrow money from the customer. Okay, they deals in sorry, they cannot lend money to the customers. Okay, so they generally accept deposit, and they generally provide some basic banking facilities to customer. So the journey of payment bank, that was again started in 2015. RBI gave license to 11 entities in 2015 with the recommendation of Nachiket More committee. And if you talk about the objective of payment bank, so it was similar to small finance bank, to create a financial inclusion in India. Okay, so bank are aiming to provide financial inclusion to sections of the society that are not covered by the existing bank and all. So in 2013, RBI formed a committee headed by Nachiket More on comprehensive financial services for small businesses and low income households. So small business houses and low income households. So after the advertisement of RBI, there were 11 applicants who generally apply for payment bank business in India. Okay, so on 19th of August 2015, RBI, Reserve Bank of India, gave license in principle certification or license to 11 entities to launch their payment bank. In principle certification is like we can say it is like after this RBI generally give you 18 month of time, and within this 18 month of time you have to fulfill the remaining guidelines. Like you have the minimum capital requirement for payment bank is 100 crore. For small finance bank it is 200 crore. We missed this data. Okay, so in 2015 or on 19th of August 2015, RBI after the RBI that generally go through the 41 applicants, those who apply for payment bank, and out of these 41 applicants, they gave banking license or payment banking license to 11 entities, and they generally provide in principle certifications to all these 11 entities, and they ask them to fulfill the remaining guidelines. So the in principle license was valid for 18 months. So in principle certification is also defined here, within which the entities must fulfill the requirement, and they were not allowed to engage in banking activities within the period. So RBI issued you the in principle certification, then there are some set of guidelines which you have to fulfill. So after fulfilling these particular guidelines, RBI will provide you a banking license, then only you can do the banking business in our country. Okay, so similarly for these one as well. So RBI grant full license under section 22 of Banking Regulation Act 1949 after satisfied that all condition has been fulfilled. So banking license in India, that is generally given under section 22 of BR Act, Banking Regulation Act 1949, and they also work as per the guidelines of RBI Act 1934. So it was conceptualized by Reserve Bank of India and allow to accept restricted deposits. So they can accept deposits, basically we can say, and they do other banking. They do provide other banking facilities like ATMs, debit card, net banking, mobile banking, and all these particular things. So they are similar to other bank, but at a smaller scale. Okay, so their working is like we can say at a smaller scale as compared to other commercial bank. So a payment bank is like any other bank put operation on the smaller scale without involving any credit risk. So they do not deal in lending part. They do not provide credit to the customers. Okay, so now there is a confusion sometime. Let's say if you open your account with any payment bank in India and they offer you credit facilities, so they are not selling their own product. Basically they are doing cross selling, they are selling someone else product. Okay, so this is the difference. So payment bank, they are not allowed to lend in Indian market, so they cannot give loan to the customers. So do remember this one. In another word, it can carry out most banking operation but can't advance loan or credit services. It can accept demand deposit up to 2 lakh rupees. So their limit, so at a time you can hold 2 lakh rupees in payment bank accounts. Offer remittance services, mobile payment, transfer, purchase, and other banking services like ATM, debit cards, net banking, third party fund transfers. So these are the basic banking requirements in rural areas, in remote areas, or in unbanked areas, we can say. So to fulfill that particular requirement or to achieve that particular financial inclusion goal, so RBI that generally gave license to these particular one. If you see the list, so that time if you go through the payment banks list, so we have like Vodafone, M-Pesa that time. So they have a customer base, Reliance. So these are the good big player. But after some time, the business houses, they generally analyze that particular business during in principle certification, and few entities who generally withdraw that time only, and few entities after running the business they realize this is not a good business as per their customer base, so they generally withdraw, like Tech Mahindra or Sun Pharma. So they withdraw their license during that in principle certification. Even Cholamandalam distribution as well. So 11 out of 11, 3 and withdraw during the in principle. Then after that, like this Vodafone, M-Pesa and all, so they also find this particular business quite complex, so they also withdraw. So right now we have 6 payment bank in India. Airtel Payment Bank was the first payment bank in India. So do remember this one. So these are Airtel Payment Bank 2017 based in New Delhi. Paytm Payment Bank, it is in Noida. Fino Payment Bank, Mumbai. Indian Post Payment Bank, New Delhi. Geo Payment Bank, Mumbai. And NSDL Payment Bank, it is located in Mumbai. So these are the 6 payment bank in our country. So as I earlier told you, the small finance bank business that generally grow, the number that generally grow from 10 to 12. But in case of payment bank, it generally came down, and Earlier it was 11, and now we have only 6 payment bank in our country. And the basic, if you talk about the basic differences between payment bank and small finance bank, so payment bank is generally, we can say they are generally fulfilling the requirements of retail or the basic banking services. Like if you have to make some payments, like if you have to pay your bills, or if you have to like if you want to open your like if your saving level is small, so if you want to start a bank, so a bank account, so you can go with these particular small finance bank. They are generally focused on small and marginal level of industries as well as farmers or allied activities. So they're generally providing credit facilities to those houses. Previously, those were generally working as a, like we can say, finance house, who generally providing the finances to like small medium enterprises and all. So now they have a bank. Like payment banks, they generally deal with the payment related activities. They generally we can say they generally assisting the other bank, as well as they generally fulfilling the basic requirements or needs of the general public. Okay, so guys, I hope you found this particular video useful. I already did a video on development bank in India, or development financial institution in the country. So whenever we talk about development bank, so these are the topmost development bank in the country. So like NABARD is an Apex Development Bank for agriculture and rural development, SIDBI for MSME, EXIM for export houses, NHB for housing development in the country. Okay, so if you not watch this particular one, please go and watch that particular video. You will get an idea about these four institutions as well. So hope you enjoy the video. If you like, please do share with your friends, and do like the video. And if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned.